Eli the Halo guy.
Eli the Halo guy.
Tips, tricks, tips, tricks, tips, tricks. Eli the Halo guy.
Opponent has now respawned. He's gonna spawn his teammates there. Probably elbow here in a sec.
Got
Bottom
a
tower
six
spawn.
point,
I stuck one. Oh my god.
Eli the Halo guy.
Under.
RPCs.
Dead.
Eli the Halo guy.
Tips, tricks, tips, tricks, tips, tricks. Eli the Halo guy.
What's up, guys? Eli the Ninja back again with another video. This is going to be a fun video. I actually got to coach one of the prominent members of the HCS team, Mr. Tashi himself, 343 Tashi. This was a great session. We talked about Forbidden CTF, had some great conversations about strategy and CTF in general and on that map specifically. Before we get into the video, though, I am going to announce I'm doing a massive deal on Medify right now. I've completely reduced my prices significantly. The 6-pack of coaching is going to drop from $340 to $250. So each session comes out to just over $40. That's going to be 9 hours of coaching split into 6 different sessions that you get with me one-on-one, where I'm going to analyze your habits. We're going to teach you strategy on all the different maps and game modes. And it's going to be one of the best ways for you to improve your Halo Infinite game and rank up. After this session with Tashi, he actually messaged me recently and said that he's now reached Onyx. So we did this coaching session maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and since then has increased his rank already. So just check out my Medify page. I've also dropped the individual coaching prices from $75 down to $60. So if you just want to buy a one-off session, absolutely do so. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the coaching session with Tashi.
What's up, coach?
How are we doing today, man?
Good. How about yourself? I feel very lucky that, I just get a lesson from you. So I'm ready to learn. I know I have a lot to work on, and I will be your humble pupil. And I'm just trying to get into Onyx consistently and stay there. I'm tired of being in the top diamond trench.
Sure. Perfect. Yeah, I think we can get you there, to be honest. Have you looked at your Halo Data Hive stats ever?
Never.
Never? Okay, you got this pulled up in Discord? Okay. So we'll be able to pull a pretty nice sample size of your KD across maps and modes, so we can see if there's any kind of consistent issue that you might be having.
Cool.
And then this is the beautiful graph that we like to look at. Oh, goodness. Wow. Okay. We are negative KD in every single category.
I figured that's, what I was actually thinking in preparation for this. I'm like, if Eli asks me okay, Tashi, where do you think you need to work on? In my head, it's not like a game type here, game type there. It's foundational stuff that I've forgotten from older Halo games when I was better. And I think Infinite stuff that I haven't really adapted.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed from your playstyle, you're very much W keying constantly. You are, you're almost prioritizing dealing any damage at all above staying alive from what I've looked at. And that kind of makes sense with these numbers. I think you're also often 4 stacking with Muggsy and some guys that are probably a higher rank. So I think you're maybe playing above your rank. So some to be completely negative is also potentially a indication of just how difficult the lobbies you're playing in are. But let's break this down a little bit. Looks like Forbidden CTF kind of an issue as far as KD goes. And then here's our map win rate as well. Forbidden only 2 out of 7 for wins. So I think we'll watch a Forbidden game today. Yeah, and it looks like Slayer in general, your worst game type. Oddball, you're most comfortable. So
I don't know why. Maybe the maps recharge and Wi-Fi and
yeah. King and Stronghold's not so bad either. So yeah, I think you're more comfortable on those maps that came with the game. We've all got more experience on those maps for sure. All right, cool. So this is a good starting point. So what we're gonna do is I've pulled up. This is the second to last Forbidden game that you played.
This is nerve-wracking, dude. I have no idea how terrible I did in this game.
I'll be honest with you, you did the worst in the lobby, but that's okay. That's why we're here to learn.
Yes.
And we're gonna go over some fundamentals first. Because the way that I think about the game is you should kind of have like a framework for how the game should be played before it even starts, right? Like you should have a very specific understanding of like what a good game of Forbidden CTF looks like, like as the map is loading. And because you have that mental framework, you can kind of just fill in the gap as you play. Like, where should we be ideally? What does an ideal flag run look like? So that throughout the game, you're just constantly trying to create the conditions for that ideal flag run. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I have that like instinct for like Empyrean, obviously, because it's an old map. So I know like, hey, push green and long, force spawns and court, run it through, long haul. Like I have that kind of like instinct, but I don't really have that laid out for like the rest of the maps,
Fair enough. Yeah. And I think that like if you're going to grind matchmaking, you need to have a clear vision for every single mode, in my opinion. If you want to perform your best and grind and level up and all that. If you're going to get to Onyx, then you're going to have like that framework for every single map. So let's first start. The first thing that I think about when I'm on a CTF map is what does an ideal flag run look like? Or what's the most optimal route? Or what are the 2 or 3 best possible routes? And that's usually revolved around spawns and how the spawns operate on the map. On this map, it's like probably 70 to 80% of the spawns occur in this room here. Just because it's so far from everything else, it's very hard for the other team to block it. In my opinion,
all that area.
I call it just back flag spawns. I call it their flag spawns or their back room, or like this area would be their BR. This I call flag hall. But yeah, so in my opinion, the best flag run is you definitely need a guy here at their snipe street. This person can just rain down fire on the spawners and keep them from killing your flag runner. If the flag runner grabs the flag, you should probably chuck it here, hit the curb slide, and then run under this player. And honestly, with just 2 players, you can make a flag run happen. And oftentimes you can even just get 1 or 2 dead and it can work out. But ideally, the more dead, the better, obviously. I think that this position is a great complementary position for it as well, because from here, you got the cross angles on shooting the spawners. You stop them from getting up main ramp. And you can also see if they rotate backwards to Mohawk to try to kill your snipe street player. So this position, and then the flag running low. As long as you round this corner, the flag's pretty much home free. I think that you, in general, you want to rotate backwards just to make sure no one does overextend, because there are some spawns in the tunnel. Like you can spawn right here in the tunnel and here. So like it's a good idea if you're this guy up top, like after the player has made it into the tunnel, just backtrack this way. You can jump onto this little platform and just make sure nobody is trying to cut off the flag on this side. So that's like one of the flag options, right? And that's while we stay out of their flag spawns. Now, let's say we don't have their snipe street, or the snipe street player that we had died, and we're still aggressing towards the flag and we run this way. If we have 2 bodies in this general area, the game will probably not spawn them here, and it'll instead spawn them on the snipe side. So if we predict that, then it's a pretty good idea to just run the flag straight through top center. You still need a guy that stays here for the same purpose and then is ready to cut off on this side. That flag run can work very well. I would say that sometimes, like if your team's not getting slays, you want to take the long route just to have a little bit of extra cover, because like this route is very exposed, right? They can just, as long as they can get to top center one way or the other, they're going to kill you. So those are kind of the 2 main flag routes. Now, because Snipe Street is so powerful, like that's where we want to get, right there, Snipe Street. We also, for the same reason, should be protecting our own Snipe Street. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they'll spawn here and just default to running this way every single time. And that's an error, honestly, because if the other team is pushing in on this side, we have to be rotating backwards to clear our snipe side, or else they're going to just make our life hell for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So rotating backwards to clear the left side is super important. And I have a fun analogy that I like to think about in flag games. And that's like, imagine that your base is a boat. All right. And if you have a boat, you don't want any holes in your boat, right? Because that's where the water comes in and you start to sink. If there's any holes in your base, which means like an easy avenue for the enemy to enter, like that's water that's coming into your boat and sinking your ship. So for example, like if I spawn up on this map and I've already got 2 teammates that are running up this way, I'm going to just cross over here and fill in the space over here, because I don't want anyone from the other team to just for free get into our base over here. It's going to make things a lot more complicated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And in the same way, if your teammate is trying to run the flag and you're in the complementary sniper position, if you're there when someone's trying to run your flag, you can stop them.
Exactly. Yep. So we kind of need like an even balance of coverage across the two sides of our base. And a lot of my off spawn behaviors are just dictated by where are my teammates? What are they doing? Do any of them need my help right now? And is there a gap that I need to fill? And I think that like a majority of the decisions you make in Halo are within the first second that you spawn, because it's the route that you choose. And that's why we need to be like highly disciplined with how we approach that. And we should be able to just see the situation and instantly know where we need to fill in the gap. So we'll go through.
That's a question.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll probably see it in my gameplay, but I think a lot of what I do is I try to like do too much. Where I hear call outs, I see a flag running this way, and I'm like,
holy shit, Clutch
I'm just trying to
Academy
like
G
do
gifted Cactus Throw a
everything. You
tier
know what I
1
mean?
sub. Thank you so much.
I don't necessarily make the right decision in the moment, where it's like, you know, feedback I've gotten is like, hey, you kind of need to trust your teammates too, to like, they're going to get that kill. You don't need to like be there. You need to be somewhere else to, you know, make sure you're clogging up holes like you were saying. So it's like,
Yes.
how do you make those like instinctual decisions? You know what I mean? Like you're on your death screen, you're gathering information. Like, is there a rule of thumb that you use to like make those decisions?
So for the most part, it's about like where you are currently, and what are the power positions on the map. Like I said, this spot, for example, is just so crucial to control. If you're here and your teammate calls out like one shot our top ramp, like there's no chance in hell that you should be going backwards to kill that guy, because then you just leave the space open for the opposition to fill, right? So it's you kind of the question that you're asking, you have to have a idea in your mind of what are the most important parts of the map, and if you're occupying one of those, then it's not your job to leave to finish a one shot. Like it's your job to stay there because we need somebody in that position, right? So value the space that you're in more than the callouts, and also understand that in most cases callouts are just extra information to help you make better decisions. It's not a callout doesn't mean that it's like
It's not direction.
yeah, like you don't have to, it's not telling you where to go. It's just extra intel to make your next decision a bit easier, in my opinion.
Damn, that's such a good way to think about it, because I totally take call outs as Tashi do this, Tashi do that, Tashi do this, you know, instead of like you're saying, it's just more info.
Yeah. So like kind of just, you kind of have to play Halo in like a zen state of mind, that where you can just have information flow through you and not let the information like dictate every single thing that you do. It's like, okay, now that I know there's a guy there, I can now position myself to not be killed by him. And maybe I play a bit further towards their base, and then, or I'm going to look back and see if I can finish a one shot, but I'm going to stay here because this angle right here is going to make the other team's life extremely difficult. Right. So it's definitely situational. But cool. Great question off the rip. Let's see what the opening strat is here. We'll go ahead and jump into some gameplay. I tend to pause it every time you spawn, because that's where, like I said, you should be asking yourself a lot of questions mentally to decide what to do next.
Yep. My usual play is support overshield.
Okay. Apparently that's everyone's opening strat here, which is kind of hilarious.
Super valuable.
I don't recommend this at all, because I think if the other team gets both snipers, which like a lot of people just rush the opposite sniper, like if they get both snipers, it might not even matter that you get the OS, because they might just make you guys life hell.
Yeah.
So we also need to be, I guess, flexible, because like if you see this on your screen right here, you see these guys, like I would not go OS anymore. I might throw a grenade to like help their operation a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, while they do that, I'm going to go apply pressure to their sniper. Like, we need to be accomplishing more things on the map, and because we're all hyper focused on this could end very poorly very fast.
You know what my head is thinking in situations like this, and I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just like saying like what was going through my head, so you can correct me, is, oh, we're all coming here, we're getting this overshield. You know what I mean? That like we're winning this fight. My whole squad's here. Like that's what's going through my head in moments like this. Even like where Empyrean trying to get rockets or something like that, it's like, oh, the whole squad's here. Like, we're getting this,
Okay.
But I totally see your point, and like, overshield is not the objective.
You want to know what goes through my head in a situation like this? What the hell are we doing? There is so many other things on the map that we are concerned about right now. If the other team gets both snipers, we will lose. They will get a quick cap in the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have to. There's
right.
there are a lot of different things to be concerned with at the beginning. Our sniper, their sniper, the overshield, their flag, our flag. There are so many things that we need to be prioritizing that if we're all in the same spot, there's so many things that are being ignored that the other team will just get for free. There's space on the map that the other team can occupy for free because we're all here, right? A guy could just waltz, grab our sniper, grab the flag, and then start running it. As long as his teammates neutralize you guys with the OS, like, they could just easily cap. Well, see, I'm almost predicting that they cap the flag within the first minute because of this opening strat. So we'll see.
See what happens. I don't remember.
Okay, we do get the OS.
Made my teammate. Perfect timing on that nade.
Yeah.
Total accident.
Yeah, right? Well, it definitely made the OS a little bit weaker. But we might actually get the first flag cap. I like your positioning here. You're aware of the spawn situation. And then somebody may have called out that our snipe is still up. Or, okay, you're cutting off the overextenders on this side.
I don't know why I looked back like that. That was weird.
Okay. So this just in, that's the best starting strat you could possibly do because you guys got the first cap, which is pretty.
Now who's the coach?
It's pretty unlikely, I would say, but
no, for sure.
I have also said though that a bad play is always better in numbers, right? Like, so some people get tripped up where they freeze and they don't make any decision at all. But it's like if you guys just, even if it's the wrong play, if done as a team, can become the right play. So like, I guess there is an element of that. And then here, by the way, I would say, oh, you're getting teabagged, of course.
It's like every game, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That's all right.
It's just kind of the nature of it at this point. But yeah, great shots here. So you actually made your shots harder by like walking forward as you shot this guy, by the way. Like, if you just kind of held your ground and shot, you would have easily killed this guy. But like, when you move forward, the vector angle that you have to aim and adjust to is like more difficult to control. So this already looks like maybe a bad combat habit that we could tackle, is that there's not a good reason to, like, most of your movement in a fight should be left and right to make his shots more difficult. Is this any more difficult for him to shoot when you're like mostly moving forward in a straight line? It's not really making his shots any more difficult. All right, so bad timing for us all to die as well. So they look to be running our flag. This is a great spawn point. It's because the other team is over here shooting your teammates, so game considers your teammates an unsafe location. We're gonna finally grab our sniper. Kind of a risky movement there, but you don't have much of a choice as you need to be moving forward. I'm not really a big fan of the tunnel route. This is a bit desperate, especially with the sniper. Yeah. Like we should probably be fighting this way, or like after you get this kill, I would be jumping up here. Since you have a teammate with you, you could maybe win that fight. And then snipe the flag from this angle. So in general, high ground and like just more direct routing, the better play in flag. Go ahead.
I definitely, there's a lot of times I feel like in my matches, it's like every time I spawn, I'm just like, I feel so desperate. I feel like I'm making such a desperate play. And I put myself into these cycles where it's like every spawn. And I'm not saying I need to be that desperate every spawn, but a lot of times I'll get into this and I go like 4, 5, 6 deaths in a row, and I'm just like in the blender, you know what I mean? So that desperation that you called out, like I feel that in so many games, like so long.
I noticed that when I watch your stream, is like it's almost like you carry this like constant state of anxiety with you, and I think it's partially what you said before about the teammates call outs. It's like if you think that every call out is your job to respond to, and you're playing with guys that are calling out like 50 times a minute, like how of course you're going to be stressed, because that's just way too much shit for you to consider like your job. So like you just got to slow it down, play your process, understand that the call outs are just intel, and just see the situation in front of you and just make the best play you can. I feel like because you're in this kind of constant state of like anxiety, and we're going this route again, which now just completely took yourself out of the fight with this teammate. Like you kind of need to be with him to make sure that we can have, like if he gets in a fight right now, you're just not going to be able to help him because you've taken this route. I also have another rule of thumb is like, if it's just you and one other teammate alive on the map, you have to play close to that teammate, or else you'll both get 2v1s, or you know, you'll be in 1v1s, which is what, a 50-50 chance to win. Like, why not buddy up and get a kill so that by the time your dead teammates spawn up, you guys are now the team that has the numbers advantage, right?
Yep.
The numbers, the numbers dictate almost every decision that I make in Halo is based on like, are we winning the numbers game or are we losing the numbers game? We can play more aggressive. We can take more like solo routes if we're all four alive, but if we're not, we've got to play closer together.
Makes sense.
And that's something that I actually heard from Formal. I said, this was back when they were winning like almost every tournament. I was like, what is it about you guys that make you so difficult to beat? And he said, as we die, we become harder and harder kills.
Holy shit. Clutch Academy G gifted Tashi a tier 1
I've
sub.
definitely seen that.
Thank you so much.
I just pictured like Trippy at green, just like living in that hill.
Right. Exactly. It's just when they die, they play closer together. They become more annoying to kill. And that's the way that you should see it. As you see the kill feed is driving all of your actions because it's telling you exactly what state we're in. But we take this route, which like now we have no, like, I don't know, this is probably my least favorite route. Maybe once out of every 10 games, I walk up this tunnel, by the way, because our presence needs to be up here. They need to feel pressure. They need to be pushed backwards. You know, they shouldn't be up here for free. Like, so when we take this route, we just kind of give our side of the map up. Our teammates have less help in the fight. Present goes down. You've got the sniper with a lot of ammo, so now you probably feel obligated to stay alive, which you should. I accidentally sniped our teammate there, but almost got the Quigley on the other guy. Okay. I played against him a lot. That's good to know that that's your cousin.
Yeah. Sorry, Sudi.
So you see how this flag like probably doesn't get this far if we're just on top of the map and we're actually like kind of having an impact on the play. For sure. That route just took us out. I have it like, okay, so we talked about like the sense of urgency to help or like to respond to callouts. My sense of urgency is like, if there's a fight happening, I kind of want to be in a fight or take an angle that can help my teammates win the fight or keep my teammates alive or occupy important parts of the map. Like I have that constant sense of urgency that makes me move faster to get to places faster. This is a good route right here and good shots. And now you're in a good spot. Let's see how this plays out.
My guess is I leave. Yeah.
You start to. Okay. Yeah, when we leave, now they're probably going to spawn snipe hut and kill your flag carrier is what I'm going to guess. Yeah. Because now we take so much space on this side. Yeah, you see that? That's the first spawner. He spawns here because you took this route. Had you never taken this route, your spawn block aura, which is pretty massive, would still be blocking this side. Your teammate can comfortably run it this direction. I think that this is part of the anxiety. Like you want to make sure this flag doesn't return. You don't want to live with the regret of like, well, what if the other team ends up capping this because I didn't go over here? It's kind of like, that's just a risk you got to take. You're in position for you guys to score up the game or to tie up the game with a score. And it wasn't.
It just feels like my job because I'm so close. I'm like, I got the kill. I have a good line of sight to get the stop. So I'm like, oh, this is my job now. I got to go do this. I got to finish and get the recovery, you know?
So the kill feed right now, if we were paying attention, just lit up with your teammates killing 3, maybe even 4. I think there's 4 dead on their team. And you've got 2 teammates in their base. It is not your job. You need to be concerned with blocking spawns So like you could even drop back here for a second, make sure you block all the prominent spawns here in the hut, and then walk back to the snipe street and get ready to shoot the spawners that spawn behind your teammates. Also tell your teammates to get out of their spawn, because we want them to spawn there. Like in CTF, in my opinion, especially in this game, the meta is that it's all about just blocking the right spawns and letting the other team spawn where they have the least options. And that's the case. I mean, think about Pit, right? They spawn court. What are their options? They walk forward and die, or they go up the lift and die. Like that's why the Pit is in the way that you said you understand the flag run is so simple. But in this, you want them to spawn in the back of their base, because they have to walk up this extremely exposed ramp, or they take this route through a tunnel where they can't have an impact on the fight, and then they're going to get cut off on the other side anyway. So that should be top of mind right here. Not, oh, I'm going to lose us the game if I don't do this right now, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So here we go. We're going to see them all spawn one by one at snipe. Yeah. And we're running the flag towards them. See, like this is... And this is why I talked about...
Here goes me to run the flag too now. I'm like, I got to run it now too.
Right. And it ends up being... And I remember when I was in your stream, I said you guys just made that way more complicated than it needed to be. Like this is kind of an example of that, right? Like, you guys just made this... Like you just stand snipe street and zoom in on the guys turning the corner, and you got this flag probably goes home, honestly.
Yep.
So definitely not aware of the spawns. You got to be hyper focused on where your team is at all times, because that should be kind of driving. You also need to have a level of trust with your teammates that they're going to make the right decision from where they are, so that you don't leave the spot that you're in to like... It definitely feels like you're trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And it's not your job to do everything. Here we are taking this route again. By the way...
I feel like you're my therapist, by the way. It's not your job to do everything, Tashi. You're one person. I know, but I'm just trying to help.
I did take psychology in college. I have a psych degree, so I think it helps a bit with the coaching, because I can kind of get into the mind of the student. Like, I know you as a person. We've hung out quite a bit. I know you're a very nice guy. You want to, you want everyone to be happy. That's totally normal human thing. But like, your personality will show up in the game. So if you're the type of person that tries to help all your friends all the time, when you play Halo, you're probably going to do the same thing, and you're going to die because of it, because you're like putting your own life on the line to help your buddies or whatever it is. But
there you go. You just got me in a nutshell, dude.
So you need to get this in your head. It's okay to be selfish in Halo. It's good to be selfish in Halo. Okay. If you're staying alive, the more times you stay alive, the easier it'll be for you to keep your teammates alive as a result. So like, you don't even recognize that you'll be able to help your team even more.
That makes sense.
All right, so check this out. If you ever end up here, never go this way anymore. Because like when we go this way, we're not only out of the fight forever, but we're also going to end up blocking the spawn that we want them to spawn at. We're going to more likely increase the spawn over there. Instead, once you get here, just jump up here and go up this way instead. And then now, boom, you're in a great spot. So let's see how successful this route is. It's not. This is the third time we've done this. Of course, they're teabagging.
I'm in a losing fight.
Yeah, you're fighting at a high ground disadvantage. You can't get a nade. It's easier for them to nade you. Even if you got the first couple shots, you could just take cover and nade you when you chase around the corner. So, not a good fight. Okay, we're showing a little discipline here. Kind of had the right idea here, but... All right, so we've had a couple rules of thumb that we've talked about. These are the ones that I want to stick with you so that you could carry them with you the next time you play, okay? So the first rule of thumb was the boat. We want even distribution of coverage in our base. The second one was if you're the last two guys alive, play close together. And the next one I want to talk about is the importance of staying within your teammates' sightlines, okay? So I want you to imagine there's invisible strings that connect you to all your teammates, okay? And as you cross and there's like a wall between you, that string breaks. Or like you guys move too far away, it breaks. But if you stay within the sightline, then it's feasible that they could help you if you get into trouble, right? In this case, two of your teammates died, so of course the string has broken. If he calls anyone out over here that's weak, you're not in position to follow up on it. The best you can do here is just make the other team's life difficult for them to get into your base. So you could probably just post up here and like watch this angle, or walk back this way and watch this teammate. So you guys, like, he's grabbing your sniper. He's extremely important on your team, right? If he dies and gives up the sniper, that means the other team has it to use against us. So like, you guys should be kind of playing with each other. Like, you could walk this way. If you see that he's getting approached on Snipe Street, you can lay some cover fire down. But like, you guys are just completely disconnected.
Yep.
And like, for a moment, like the way that you played this, like I thought that you might be baiting this for him to snipe the guy, but then we just kind of get impatient.
Yeah.
Maybe hearing a call out from Nell. I don't know if Nell's in your service team here, or fire team.
I don't know who that is. Man, I probably did a bad thing by jumping.
Yep. Us old school Halo players have a habit of that. I still, to this day.
1, 2, 3, jump 4.
Yeah.
In my DNA at this point, dude.
Right. All right, so I'm going to pause this here. And based on what we've talked about, this is going to be a pop quiz about what's your route.
Okay, that's cool.
All right. So soaking in all the information about what's happening here. Looks like we have 2 dead enemies. 2 teammates on the left, 1 teammate on the right. Where do we go?
OS is in 15. So this is actually tough because my initial impression goes, let me go snipe side and push up with my team. We'll get OS together. But then there's another part of me that says I can go up flag ramp and I have an angle at their snipe and I still have an angle at OS.
Yep.
So maybe we pinch somebody. If we do, then I can go snipe. Our teammate can get an OS, or I can get OS. So like, maybe going right to flag ramp is the better option here.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, I agree. I think that, and this is actually maybe a trick question because I hadn't even talked about this before, but in the current meta, because the bandit has a higher time to kill, I think that using the buddy system is very powerful. Okay, so like, if 2 guys are together, their buddy system, they're buddied up, because feasibly, if they both just bandit the same guy, they'll kill them in less than a second. It's extremely fast.
Right.
But this guy is by himself. So in general, if you're 4 up, like, go buddy with the guy that's solo. And then, like you said, you can pressure both sides of their base at the same time as well. And the cool thing about this too is, like, you buddy up with this guy. Let's say this guy hits a lucky no scope on him, but you kill him. So now you're the only guy on this side. But guess what? You're still can get into position here. The natural flow is these guys push up. Now they're fighting for flag space. Now they run the flag. You're in position. Like, it's we have to think so far ahead. It's a chess game, man. It's a fast paced chess game. And if we're not thinking moves ahead of like what that ideal flag run looks like from the moment we spawn, then we're going to be not making correct decisions. So from the moment we spawn, we should understand, okay, ideal flag run, most important position is snipe. Let me buddy up with him to guarantee that we get that so that we can cap another flag, right? But
I'm so curious to see what I do here now.
yeah, you also caught the really important overshield is a big part of the context here too. So you go this side with him instead. Nell dies because he's in a 2v1 instead of a fair fight.
Overshield inbound.
But we should maybe be able to overpower on this side. The problem is now we all have the same approach angle, so these guys all have the same escape options because there's nobody to cover the opposite side.
Yeah.
We get sniped. We fall to the depths. Let's see what else is happening here. Nell's coming off spawn. You guys actually all died. And I'm not saying like you guarantee to win the situation if you took the other route, but it could definitely have made an impact here.
Yeah.
And this kind of exemplifies like your routing is the most important decision making that you make in this game because it can completely change the complexion of the next fight. So you have to be taking those different angles. You have to be putting yourself in positions to keep your teammates alive. You can't let anybody just be running solo on the map. And granted, there's a lot of imperfect teammates, we'll call it, that maybe aren't as focused on what you're doing and maybe overextend before you even have a chance to keep them alive. That's certainly feasible. But if we always trend towards the right decisions, will just increase our odds. Like everything's just a numbers game, right? We have every decision can be a good decision, but which one is the best decision, right? That leads to the most favorable outcome.
Yeah, it's like
Eyes on.
you're trying to get as close to 100% favorable in your
Exactly.
direction. And it's like every move just kind of moves the percentage up or down.
Yep.
Like no guarantees, but you just give yourself the best chance.
And this
Well, I
route,
often find myself in this position.
yeah,
Maybe because I go long haul too much, or that.
the tunnel.
But the
Yeah.
flag, the flag is like coming towards me, and I'm like, I don't think I can get 5 shots off, and I'm like praying a teammate's gonna shoot with me.
Well, first of all, your angle is always going to suck from low ground. So like,
Yeah.
if I make this play, it's maybe riskier if the other team's paying attention because they're going to see me when I jump up. But like, I'm going to jump up here and try to get to like this spot where I can use this pillar for cover and have the clearest sight line on the end of the flag run, right?
Yeah.
But from here, I mean, look at the angle that you have to work with.
Yep.
Hardly any visibility, and they're just going to drop on your head and kill you now.
Yep. And oh, he didn't teabag me, thank God.
Yeah, we didn't want every death to be a teabag. I want you to think about this too, though, especially on this map, because like once the flag is where it is, it's like we either kill these guys up here and earn top control to stop the flag. Like that's probably the best chance we have to stop the flag is you buddying up with this guy and somehow finding a way through top. But if you're not going to be able to stop the flag, it's okay to just say, like, they got it. I'm going to do my best to make sure it's not a double cap. So, like, let's stay alive and at least clear our side. Like, honestly, at this point in the flag run, what do you think the odds are that we stop this? I mean, they've got overshield.
That's a Hail Mary.
Yeah, another guy here.
Yeah.
They've got this guy. They're literally in the perfect positions. This is what I talked about. Is this not the exact positions that I said for a perfect ideal flag run? It's they've done it perfectly. So if this guy rounds this corner, I think it's better that it's gone. Just say they got it. I'm going to instead go backwards and clear our snipe side so they can't get a second cap, right? Because the double cap risk is very high, especially in positions like this.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we're pacing towards a double cap here.
It might happen.
So because we all died, if Cam dies, yeah, it's not looking good.
I do that a lot too, where I slide a little too early. And so I come up out of my slide as I'm turning the corner instead of sliding through the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good self-awareness
like,
to recognize that. Yeah. You don't want to be stuck in animations when you should be shooting your gun.
Yeah.
So this did turn into a double cap when we could have played it in a way that kind of neutral, like just get them out of your base to prevent the double cap.
Yeah.
And this is really easy to do where like you spawn halfway down the tunnel and it's like, oh yeah, I just go to their side. But like
I do this all the time. I'm like, oh, I got a forward spawn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
lucky me. It's a trap.
It's 100% a trap. This is bait. Like, back up, go to your side, get up top because high ground is king. Okay, like
yeah,
I would off of that spawn say, okay, they got that one. I'm gonna go up here and see if there's still anybody on our side, and then like have some type of top presence. They've controlled the top center of the map this entire game, and that's why you guys are losing now. Is like they've hardly been pressured up here. You've gone through tunnels for half your lives so far, and there's nobody to pressure them off of the top. And now we're kind of on an island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what are you gonna do? Like, this whole life started like it's all because of the decision you made off your spawn, right? Like now we're just stuck in no man's land, not really making an impact on anything. Your teammates are dying. They have the one less gun in the fight.
Well, it went all the way back to that one you gave me a pop quiz on. Because I went left, we died, we didn't get overshield. Then I spawned again. I took a bad route. They still had overshield. The overshield got killed me on my bad route. And then it just snowballed from there, and they got 2 caps.
I love that you said that because like that's something that I say all the time is like, this is why I have to be disciplined in every single spawn because you play one spawn wrong and you might die another 4 times because you fucked it up the first time. Like,
Yeah.
it's like everything has a butterfly effect in this game. So to have the most impact, to have positive results on your butterfly effect so that it steamrolls in your favor, like you got to be closer to teammates. You've got to get top control. You've got to get the power items. You got to stop the other team from getting in your base. And it doesn't really feel like those are the things top of mind with your decision making. It just kind of seems a little bit frantic, to be honest. Like we're just trying to like scramble together, hearing call outs. Like it's a bit chaotic, but it's like we need to calm down, talk to each other, go to the parts of the map that matter. Like you guys have been so disconnected as well. Like this isn't all your fault. Like the whole team has been very disconnected for quite a while now. When was the last time you and your teammates shot at the same target? I can't remember a time.
I don't know. 1994.
it's pretty rough, right? When you watch FaZe, how often are they shooting at the same target?
It's like literally every single time.
Every single one, yeah.
Yeah.
We melt this.
Overshield they got.
Yeah. Well, it's
There we
pretty.
go, we've shot together.
You did, yep. It's pretty easy to get every overshield if no one's getting you off a top center, though.
That's true.
And they're not hitting left and right to like pinch. And I think that's GG. If they get this flag around the corner. We're finally going this way.
Going this way. Okay.
I mean, it's really not bad. You get a good kill here. We needed to clear that side. That definitely increased your odds of returning this flag. I think it's totally fine to have gone this way, to be honest.
Okay.
Now you kind of have to go to their side because you don't have many other choices. The flag right there. Now we jump up here. This is what I wanted you to do earlier, but our team's mostly dead now. But look at how beautiful this angle is.
It is. I see everything from me.
I'll tell you this right now. You've got a good shot, but you're playing the game on legendary mode. Like, I'll play campaign on legendary, but I want to play multiplayer on easy mode. Like, I don't want every fight to be harder. Like, why are you making the game more difficult?
Dude, I always thought I had a bad shot. Look at me getting bagged in the end. He got me in the end. God damn it, Eli. Help me.
It happens.
No. It, yeah, everything you said makes sense. I can definitely see. It's like so interesting. I used to watch film back in the day all the time, and now I like don't. And it's like, as you're showing me this, I'm like, oh my God, Tashi, you idiot. Like, why are you doing this? Like, look how long it took you to get there. Like, you're such an idiot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this is good.
Yeah, no, that's another great point. I feel like a lot of people just play and play and play and play, and they don't leave any room for like introspection because, you know, I mean, if you're a working person, you don't have a lot of free time. So maybe there's some mental block to watching films. Like, no, I only have so much time. I'm going to just play as much as I can. But it's like,
yeah, for sure.
If you're also trying to improve, I think that like 15 to 20% of your game time should be dedicated to like self-reflection, watching film, practicing your muscle memory, and like all the amazing aim trainers the Forge community has built. Like there's so many, like, have you seen Scoobmeister's warm-up map? It's called Aimbots with a Z. I do it every single day to get warmed up, to work on my snipe. You know, there's so many different ways to improve your game besides just playing endlessly without like any kind of introspection at all. So, so
no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And like when I play, like, I don't have like 8 hours to play, but when I play, I want to win.
Right.
And like, if I'm losing, it sucks. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, if I have to spend some of this time like learning to get better, then it's a worthwhile, you know, investment to make sure my future sessions are more fun.
Exactly.
And I can do the teabagging, Eli.
Exactly. You should be the one bagging them as a 343 studio head. That, you know, we're good to the community.